Hello friends, I'm Professor Wayam Khan and today we'll cover the part 3 of our lecture series of queuing models. Now in today's part, we are going to see the various formulae used in the queuing models, or we will see one of the models, and in this model we'll see various formulae which is associated with this model, and we'll solve one of the examples today. Okay. So without wasting so much of time, I'll request you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, and keep studying. And we'll move to our content. Okay. So in today's class, first we will see what do you mean by transient and steady states. Okay. Uh, all of you know that the transient means it is changing with respect to time, and steady state means it is constant or it is not changing with respect to time. Similarly, here in our queuing model, there are systems which are transient. That means a system is said to be transient state when it is operating when its operating characteristics are dependent on time. A system is said to be in transient state when its operating characteristics are dependent on time. Okay, there will be some systems whose operating characteristics will be changing with respect to the time. Okay, as the time changes, the operating characteristics of our queuing models also change. So such kind of systems are called as transient state systems. Okay, or if they are said to be in transient state, whereas a steady state condition or a steady state system is said to prevail when behavior of the system becomes independent of time, when there is no change in your operating characteristics with respect to the time. Okay, they are not, the operating characteristics are not dependent on the time in this particular system. So such a kind of systems are called as steady state condition or steady state systems. Now probability, for these two states we have probability n uh, with t and probability of n. So for transient state, probability that n calling units are in the queuing system at time t is represented by this particular notation. Okay, probability of t n. Okay, and steady state probability of having n units in the system is represented by pn simply. Okay. Okay, now why I'm telling you these two different system, because there will be some models in which these two systems matters. Okay, there will be some relation of these two systems or two states with your model. So right now it is not that much important, but whenever it is required, we'll revise it and we'll use these two particular notations. Okay, these two particular notations, pn of t and pn. Now there are various queuing models, but out of these we have to see only two models, and these two models are this model number one and model number two, because there are a lot of other models as well, but they are not covered in your syllabus. They are not required to be covered in your syllabus. So we will see only two models, model number one and model number two. So this is the classification of your queuing models, and this one, the first model is MM1 FCFS infinity infinity. Now this particular model is having Poisson distribution for his arrival rate, or you can say Markovian distribution at arrival rate, as well as exponential distribution. That's why Markovian again for its service rate. Then the number of channels here is one, and the discipline, service discipline, is first come first serve basis. The uh, number of people involved in it, or you can say the number of people in the system, can be infinity, and the population is also infinity. Okay, so this one is your model number one, and that is the most important model in our syllabus, because it will cover a lot of questions in your question paper. The lot of questions are asked from this model number one, where if you are asked from model number two, and there are no questions asked from model number three and four. Okay, so model number 2 is similar to the first one, except the number of channels involved in it is you can say multiple. There can be two channels, there can be three channels, there can be four, or multiple channels will be involved in this particular model. So this particular model is single server model, and this particular model is multi-server model, or you can say multi-channel model, and this is single channel model. So these two models we have to study, and today we will study the first one, your single channel queuing model with Poisson arrival and exponential service times. That means this M means Markovian. We have seen it in last video. What are the meaning of this M, this FCFS? Uh, so this one means Markovian, and this is your Poisson arrival, or you can say the distribution of your arrival rate is followed or is uh, Poisson, and the service rate or your service times are exponential, and there is infinite population, so that's why we have used this infinite symbol here. Now there are some assumptions in this particular model, and these assumptions decide how the problem is going to be solved or how we have to solve the given numerical. Now these assumptions, the first assumption I'll explain to you. It states that arrivals are served on a first come first served basis. So if you see this one, FCFS, it means that this particular model is following first come first serve discipline. Okay, first come first serve channel discipline or service discipline. So whatever the arrivals will be, they will be served, whatever the number of customers arriving in this system, they will be served on first come first serve basis. That means the customer that comes first will be sent for the service first, the customer that comes second will be sent second for the service. Okay, so it will follow FCFS base. Now second assumption states that every arrival waits to be served regardless of the length of the line. Whenever a customer arrives in this system, he or she has to wait for some time. Okay, he or she has to wait some time regardless of the length of the line. Okay, he or she has to wait in the system, in the queue. Okay, then third statement states that arrivals are independent of preceding arrivals. It means that the customer coming after some other customer, they are totally independent, their arrival is totally independent of preceding arrivals, but the average number of arrivals that does not change over time. Now a person may come first in the system, and the second person coming in the system may come after 1 hour. Okay, the third person may come after 15 minutes, the fourth person may come after say 30 minutes. So their arrivals are independent of preceding arrivals, but the average number of arrivals does not change over time. Okay, the number of customers coming to the system does not change, or their rate does not change. Okay, now arrivals are described by a Poisson probability distribution and come from an infinite population. Now if you see this infinite symbol, it means that they're coming from an infinite population. Okay, so there can be number of customers waiting in the queue. Okay, but there will be limited customers who can be served there, because it is a thing, there will be only one customer served at a time. There will be only one customer served at a time, but there can be number of customers waiting in the line as well as in the system. So arrivals are described by Poisson probability distribution and come from an infinite population. Now fifth assumption is service times also vary from one customer to the next and are independent of one another, but their average rate is known. Now the service rate here, okay, now this particular thing states that a person may take longer duration as compared with other person, okay, for servicing. Okay, now they can have, say they are at a barber shop. This is our system and we have a barber shop. Only one barber is there, and he is serving to number of customers. Now the customer number one, he wants to only shave, oh, he wants to only shave his beard, and that's why the time taken for his service will be less as compared with the customer who wants to do shaving as well as a haircut. Okay, so it will take more time. So that's why customer one will take less time as compared with the customer two. Now they can have independent time, okay, for services or whatever services they are taking, so they can take as per their requirement, but their average rate is known. The average rate, that is the customer served per hour, will be same, or say the customer served per unit time will be same, okay, for every time. Service times occur according to the negative exponential probability distribution. So here M means the Markovian distribution, that is your service rate is following exponential probability. Eh? Okay. Now seventh assumption is the average service rate is greater than the average arrival rate. So that means this is the most important assumption here. That is, that's why the problem that follows this particular assumption will be considered in model number one only, and it will be solved according to the we can say rule of model number one. Now the average service rate means that your mu. So mu is always greater than the lambda, average arrival rate. So lambda will be less here and mu will be greater here. So if you are having mu less, if you are having mu greater than the lambda, then this is the model number one. Okay, so this is the model number one. Okay, so let's see which are the different formulae involved in this particular model. Okay, now we all know this is the same formula for every model. Traffic intensity or your utilization factor, it is the ratio of your lambda by mu. What is lambda? That is your arrival rate. And what is mu? Mu is your service rate. So utilization factor or traffic intensity, how good you are utilizing your resources, how good you are utilizing your system, how good you are utilizing your channel. So this particularly utilization factor, that is rho, represents it. Okay, so this is your lambda by mu. Now second thing, expected average number of units in the system, which is represented by ls, is given by lambda upon mu minus lambda. Okay, now we have to you can say uh, uh, we have to use this formula everywhere in the problem. That's why you have to mug up it, and you can use it while you are solving the numericals. Okay, a third thing is expected average queue length, LQ. This is number of units in the system. These are the number of units in the system, and this is only in the queue. That is your queue length. Okay, the customers who are in queue will be represented by LQ. The customers who are in queue as well as in service will be represented by LS. Okay, now this LQ is given by lambda square upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda, or it can also be computed by a rho square upon 1 minus rho. Okay, you can use this formula also. Now next formula is for expected average waiting time in the queue excluding the service time. Now in this particular time, WQ represents the time spent by average time spent by a customer for waiting. Okay, or the time that he spends in a queue is given by WQ, which is equals to lambda upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda, in bracket mu minus lambda. So you have to remember this formulae every time they will be used. Now next one is expected average waiting time in the system, including service time. Now a person, okay, now a person, he waits in a queue for some time, and then he gets his services. Okay, will be something. Now this waiting time plus his service time will be given by WS, that is equals to 1 upon mu minus lambda. Now it is the summation of your waiting time plus service time. Okay, this is expected average. Now we are dealing with average times now. Everything is average here. So 1 upon mu minus lambda. Then there will be expected average length of non-empty queue. Now what do you mean by non-empty queue? It means that there will be always a customer waiting in the queue, minimum a customer waiting in the queue. So it can be represented by LQ dash, LQ dash. Okay, LQ, and this is your LQ dash. Now it is possible when L upon L is greater than 0, and it is given by mu upon mu minus lambda. Okay, it will be asked in some numericals, but these four things will be asked in every numerical, or most of the numerical will need uh, these things, and these things need to be computed for most of the numericals, but this will be asked in some numericals. And similarly, we have expected variance of queue length, which is given or which is represented by var, or you can say variance of number of customers is equals to rho upon 1 minus rho whole square. Rho upon 1 minus rho whole square. So you have to remember this formula, how we obtained this and how we got this. There is a big theory behind it, and there are a lot of equations involved it, but these equations or the calculations are not important for us. Now this formula is important for us. Now there are some probability formulae as well as which are involved in this particular model, and these are the probability of q being greater than or equal to k. Now k is your parameter, k is your parameter, and if uh, we are asked to find, now this k will be given to you, and if we are asked to find the probability of q being greater than k or equal to k, it will be computed by, and it can be represented by p greater than or equal to k, p of greater than or equal to k, which is equals to lambda upon mu raised to power k. Okay, raised to power k. Now the probability of q being greater than k, if k is given to us and it is asked to find the probability of q being greater than k, so it will be represented by probability of greater than or equal to sorry, probability of greater than k is equals to lambda upon mu raised to power k plus 1. Now third thing, probability that Q is non-empty. If it is asked to us to find the probability that Q is not empty, that means there is always a customer present in a queue. There is always at least a customer present in the queue. So that particular probability will be represented by P of n greater than 1. That means the number of customer is always 1 or greater than 1, which is equals to lambda upon mu whole square, lambda upon mu whole square. So that is your square of your uh, traffic intensity, that is simply square of your traffic intensity or utilization factor. Now there is probability density function of waiting time, which excludes the service time distribution. Waiting time distribution, it is given by density function of waiting time distribution is given by lambda upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda into e raised to the power minus mu minus lambda into t, where t is greater than 0, and lambda upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda, and that is equals to if t is equals to 0. So if your t is greater than 0, you have to use this formula to compute the probability density function of waiting time distribution. So lambda upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda into e raised to the power minus in bracket mu minus lambda bracket closed into t for t greater than 0. And the final probability density function of waiting plus service time distribution is given by mu minus lambda into a raised to the power minus in bracket mu minus lambda into t. So this is the these formulae are used very few times, but you should know it and you should remember these formulae. Okay, now let's see how a problem is given to you and how you can solve it. Now in this particular example, now on this onwards we will be solving only numericals. Okay, so this is the first numerical that we have to solve, and we are asked here, let's see what is the numerical. Customers arrive at a milk parlor being manned by a single individual. Now in this problem, we see that there is a milk parlor, okay, that is your service channel. Now this service channel is manned by a single individual. That means it is a single channel problem, and the customers arrive at a milk parlor being manned by single at a rate of 25 per hour. So the arrival rate is given to us. It is 25 per hour. So 25 customers every hour is coming to this particular parlor. Now the time required to serve a customer has exponential distribution. Now the exponential distribution is mentioned here. That means the service rate is following exponential distribution, and the value of your service rate is also given here, a mean of 30 per hour. That means the customers are being served with a rate of 30 per hour. That means every hour 30 customers are served. So every hour 25 customers come to this parlor, and every hour 30 customers leave from this parlor. Okay, this milk parlor. So your mu, that is 30 per hour, is greater than your arrival rate. So this is a problem of your MM1, or you can say the model number 1. And we are asked to discuss the various characteristics of a queuing system, assuming that there is only one server. Now first of all, we'll write arrival rate, that is lambda, and it is equals to 25 per hour. Then we'll write service rate, that is mu, which is equals to 30 per hour. Then first of all, we'll calculate traffic intensity, and for this traffic intensity we have formula lambda upon mu. So lambda is 25, so 25 upon 30, which is equals to 5 by 6. So this is simple problem here. Just to, you can say, practice it, just to understand how the problem will be asked to us. Second thing, we'll find, since here it is mentioned that discuss various characteristics. That means we have to find the values of lambda, we have to find value of mu, then we have to find value of rho, ls, your lq, wq, ws, and that's it. So the problem will be done. So for second thing, that is expected number of units in the system, which is represented by ls, we have a standard formula, that is lambda upon mu minus lambda. So lambda is 25 upon 30, that is your mu, 30 minus 25, so 25 upon 5. So 5 customers is your expected number of units in the system. So at a time 5 customers will be present in the system. Okay, average number of customers present in the system, okay, in the whole system, considering the queue as well as the server, as well as the service. Now, next thing that we have to compute is expected queue length. So how many customers will be present in the queue? Average number of customers present in the queue, which is given by LQ, and that particular formula is lambda square upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda, which is equals to the lambda is given to us 25 square divided by mu is also given to us in divided by 30 in bracket 30 minus 25. So it comes around 25 by 6 customers. 25 by 6, if you find this particular, if you compute this thing, so it will be around 6 4s are 24, it will be around 4 and some point, and that number of customers will be present in a queue. Okay, at a average number of customers, average number of customers present in the queue, LQ. Expected waiting time in a queue excluding service time. Now this is your expected waiting time. This is again average timer. So it is given by WQ. So average time for a customer that he needs to wait in the queue is lambda upon mu in bracket mu minus lambda, and if you put the values of lambda and mu in it, they will get 1 by 6 hours. So 1 by 6 hours he has to wait in a queue. And expected waiting time in the system, that is your WS. So for a system, the total time that he has to wait in a system including your queue and service time, so that is given by WS, and it is computed by 1 upon mu minus lambda. And if you put the values of it in it, then you get 1 by 5 hours. So a customer has to wait for 1 by 6 hours, and a customer has to spend a 1 by 5 hours total in the system. Okay, and in this way we compute the various values asked to us. Now in next video we'll cover more numericals. We'll at least solve 2 to 3 numericals in next video of various types, and we'll see how to read this particular numerical, because reading is very important. If you come to know what is arrival rate, if you come to know service rate directly from the numerical, then it is very good, and it will help you to solve the particular problem. Okay, so thank you. Please stay at home, stop gathering outside, don't go outside, and please stay safe and healthy. Thank you.